Liverpool have ended Man City's title race. 2-0 win for Liverpool. A huge result for Arne Slot against the current holders. They now stretch their lead 11 points clear over Man City, 9 over Arsenal, 1 loss all season. They've been unplayable, Liverpool. In this video, we're going to break down what went so wrong for Guardiola in this game. And I feel a lot did. I'm going to be completely real about that. Obviously, the 2 goals for Liverpool, 2 very, very well taken goals. And where Liverpool can go from here, because they've got some very interesting fixtures, quite a few away days. And we're going to debate if Liverpool and Arsenal are in a title race or it's just Liverpool's to win, because I'm not doing this reverse psychology card at all. I'm honestly not. You cannot win the amount of games Man City have to win. Even in a row. I mean, Man City would have to win 15 games in a row, 16 in a row, and hope Liverpool keep drawing, losing. And it's never going to happen. I mean, this Liverpool side have to go to the Etihad, and they're probably going to smash Man City at the Etihad the way it's going. It's as low as I've seen the City players maybe ever under Guardiola, and this is the truth. We're talking 7 results now, 6 of them losses. Obviously, no wins, 1 draw against Feyenoord. It is so bad. It really is. We'll talk about the goals first and the strengths and the positives for Liverpool because they did look excellent for the first 45. The intensity, the control, the quality on the ball. They managed Man City very, very well, and then at points really bullied Man City. Could have had 4, could have had 5 really, even in the first half. Hit the bar. Every time a corner came in, it looked like they were going to score. The City side were getting under the ball, weren't able to kind of rise and dominate in the air. And that happens with a lack of confidence. These Man City players have this lack of kind of physical belief in what they can do. There's this kind of flatness, physically speaking, even technically. At points, City were playing out from the back. And yes, they've got these patterns of play and these rhythms. They know how to play out from the back. But the speed of how it was happening, this Liverpool side were licking their lips. These guys are not confident. They're taking an extra touch. Everything's a little bit slower. And it's very distressing on some level, because you look at some of the best players in the world, all at the same time having a real fundamental lack in confidence. You talk about Gundogan at points, Akanji, the keeper, Ortega, Ederson's come in. We'll talk about that as well in a minute. Let's just talk about the first goal. It was classic Liverpool, classic Trent, who plays an unbelievable a ball into Salah, the ball across the face of the box, kills the whole Man City back line, and it's so early in the game, it just destroys the match for Man City. Man City did have spells in the second half, we'll talk about it in a minute, but if you're 1-0 down to this Liverpool side that early, it's just disastrous. The ball across to Cody Gakpo is exceptional. Gakpo is quickly becoming one of those players, a bit like Divock Origi. I think he's got a little bit more about him, but a kind of important Liverpool goal scorer. Doesn't always start matches, but when he does start them, he does influence the game. I really do think he does. And he scores big goals. And that goal is one of the biggest goals he'll ever score in his life, in my opinion, because it gives Liverpool a platform to go on and win the Premier League title. It puts the final nail in the coffin for Man City, in my opinion. In my opinion, Man City could definitely build up steam, get close to second, close to third. I can't believe I'm saying that. But that, for me, was the real nail in the coffin to really give Liverpool space and to kind of calculate and progress into a title race with someone else. And that, obviously, for me, is Arsenal. But they still have a massive points total of Arsenal as well. So it's a huge goal for Cody Gakpo. The ball from Trent into Salah was absolutely world class. And again, people are talking about, we can let all these players go, Trent to Real Madrid. And yes, Conor Bradley's fantastic. And there's an argument, a lot of Liverpool fans would have started Conor Bradley over Trent in this game if he was fully fit. But that ball, you can't buy that kind of quality of pass from a right back. You really can't. He's the only player in the world that would probably conceive of a ball of that much quality, playing it right in front of Salah with this kind of whip and venom. And Salah only needs a couple of touches. He plays it on his left foot. It's curling away from Akanji, away from Kyle Walker, away from everyone. And Cody Gakpo taps home. I think there's a world you could be critical of Ortega. You want him to maybe dominate that little alleyway between the defenders and the keeper a little bit more potentially, but I don't want to pile it on him. I'll talk about that now very quickly. You're going into the biggest game of the season, the hardest game City ever have every season. And Guardiola came out pre-game and said it's the toughest side he's ever faced in his managerial career. Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp, and obviously now with Arne Slot. And then you make your change to your first choice keeper that's seen you win Champions Leagues, trebles, 100-point seasons. And yes, Ederson made some really big mistakes against Feyenoord, but it was a big move. I don't know if Ortega brings the same level of quality, particularly from playing out from the back in the same way Ortega does. I feel like it was a bit of a stretch to bring him in for this game. I don't know what Ortega does that Ederson doesn't. Maybe a slightly better shot stopper, but I think that's debatable. And that cross from Salah, I think there's a world Ederson gets that. I'm not being critical. The ball from Salah was world class. It really was. At that point, Liverpool could have had 3 or 4. I talked about the corners, but City couldn't get out. And that's why I said on the preview on this channel that ultimately City had to play some version of a 3. And when I say 5, people think you're being ultra defensive, you're being Stoke City under Tony Pulis. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant play 3 centre-backs, 2 wing-backs. So Kyle Walker's protected with a right centre-back behind him. Play Doku as a left wing-back, who obviously came on today and influenced things massively. And then have a bit more protection, because the City side went into the game 4-3-3, instantly got exposed. The back 4 all over the place. At points, the midfield were dropping into the back line. It was kind of complete, like, on the line defending. It was almost like emergency defending, and it was a little bit at points embarrassing, defensively speaking. It was, but Liverpool didn't take their chances, and this City side created a lot of anxiety at Anfield. You could feel it, and City kept the ball well, particularly in the second half, and had chances ourselves, no question about it. But again, you're looking at Haaland, basically didn't touch the ball. I mean, I'm touching the ball more than Haaland. I'm 150 miles away. Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely crazy how lacking he is in his ability to come deep. There was a couple of moments where the ball gets fired into him and his touch, he just completely loses possession. Good couple of times, and you think he wasn't getting the ball anyway. So it's just like, how can you lose possession in such a cheap fashion for someone that good? Not saying you have to carry the ball like prime R9 and beat 6 people and nutmeg a keeper. Not saying that, but the hold-up play, the smart, be cute, be smart. Someone like Teddy Sheringham used to have his back to a defender. He used to be very, very smart, hard to play against. Be rough. Be a hard physical striker to play against. Be someone that you don't want to go into a challenge with. And this is a Liverpool side that did have a weakness today. They did have an Achilles heel. Their best centre-back was injured, arguably. Konate on form. And you got someone like Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez wrapped this guy up again. He did it last season. Tied him up. So very frustrating from that perspective. You want Erling Haaland to do a little bit more. Let's just talk about the second goal for Liverpool. Very, very well worked. Great pressing from Diaz and Nunes. And Liverpool are away. Ortega comes out. On some level, he has to make the challenge. He has to commit to bringing the guy down, because it was an open net if he didn't, sort of thing. I mean, it's both. Whatever happens, the situation's awful defensively. Like, embarrassingly bad defensively. And obviously Mohamed Salah tucks it away after missing the penalty against Real Madrid midweek as well. That was crucial, that penalty. It really was. If you missed that, City definitely had the kind of confidence on the ball in the second half. I mean, City were so good in the second half on the ball that City ended the game with more possession than Liverpool. I can't even quite believe that. But the amount of shots on target, minimal. At one point in the second half, City had like 0 shots on goal, 0 anything progressive or advance into the Liverpool half was like 0 for Man City. So City did definitely improve in the second half. Savinho came on, Jeremy Doku, but it wasn't enough. I think Guardiola got it completely wrong in the lineup. He got it completely wrong, in my opinion. If Doku's fit enough to start, if De Bruyne's fit enough to play, he came on. Jack Grealish came on. Savinho. I actually think there's a world all of them should have been in the side to start. If they're injured, they're injured. But if they're fully fit, I mean, I thought the plan for De Bruyne was to bring him back for this kind of game. He's not been featured in the last 5. He's been wrapped in cotton wool. He's played here and there, played in the Champions League for a bit as well against Feyenoord. And you think, surely he's fit enough to play this game. Surely the kind of timing around De Bruyne's injuries have been not managed very well, in my opinion. Either the player isn't communicating what's happening with his injuries, or the club doesn't have a great understanding of when he can start football matches. He has to be starting this kind of game. And that's why I thought maybe play 3 defenders, create this kind of back 5, make it hard, and have Harden on the break, Doku on the break, Savinho on the break, and have a bit more pace. And actually, when they came on, Doku caused Trent a lot of issues. How is he not starting the game if he's fit enough? You got to realise this is the final nail in the coffin. City have to treat this like a cup final, and it was a very flat lineup. It felt very, very low on confidence. It didn't feel energetic. It didn't feel like it was believing that this City side can win the title. And this City side won't be winning the title now. And you have to say that the starting 11, it just didn't work. Kyle Walker looked poor. Ruben Diaz looked poor all game. He really did. Akanji got second choice keeper. I mean, come on. And then Rico Lewis. I mean, I love Rico Lewis. If you get him in the right system, he's still got so much ceiling. He's got a world-class ability to knock the ball around, be a very, very smart, intuitive footballer. But he got bullied in the last few weeks. He's been bullied against Spurs. He's been bullied this season when he's tucked into midfield. Him and Kyle Walker, you think, we've lost the pace of Kyle Walker. You've got a lack of physicality from Rico Lewis, a little bit of decent quality on the ball from Rico Lewis, but he's linking up with someone like İlkay Gundogan who's got no pace. Bernardo Silva is going through games where he actually came on, but Phil Foden, Mateus Nunes, these guys are going through games. I mean, Phil Foden's not even influencing things. He's not even influencing things. He looked like a shadow of himself today. It's really, really frustrating. Nathan Ake, you have to shout out Nathan Ake. I thought he was the best player for City by a country mile. Let's talk about Liverpool. We're going to break down their fixtures as well for the kind of title race that I think they're in. And it's very, very interesting. A lot of away fixtures and a lot of positives for Liverpool. Firstly, the back line. And it's another clean sheet for Liverpool. Whether City had chances or not in the second half, irrelevant. It's a 2-0 win. Andy Robertson looks electric. Van Dijk was just winning everything, whether it's defensively or offensively speaking. Joe Gomez came in. I've always liked Joe Gomez, a very, very smart footballer. You can maybe not like his injury record, his consistency on that level, but that's something very harsh to criticise a footballer for, in my opinion. When he's on the ball, when he's defending, he is very, very smart positionally. He's always in the right position. He never gets caught out, in my opinion. Fantastic. This is basically it. You can talk about Salah. You can talk about all these kind of players. Liverpool are building a midfield that is capable of winning the Premier League title. You cannot win the Premier League title without a powerhouse midfield, without Kante, without Vieira, without Yaya Toure, without Rodri, etc., Frank Lampard. And Gravenberch and McAllister have become a midfield duo where they keep the ball exceptionally well. They break up play very, very well. I mean, İlkay Gundogan couldn't get anywhere near Gravenberch today. And they just had this balance between them. They know where each other are. McAllister likes to be a bit more cute on the ball. Gravenberch they both like to be cute on the ball. I think Gravenberch is enjoying the tackle a little bit more as well. He enjoys winning the ball massively. So Bosley can come in and offer a lot of work rate. Curtis Jones came on as well. That is quickly becoming a Premier League winning midfield. Now, whatever you talk about the keeper, the defenders, Mohamed Salah, we'll talk about them in a minute. But that midfield is balanced. It keeps the ball. It creates chances. It's almost as perfect as you can get as a Premier League winning midfield, in my opinion. And then you look at the front three. It didn't necessarily work massively today, the front three. Diaz down the middle. Cody Gakpo scores the goal. Was he involved in everything? I think he had a good game. But there's still rotation there. Nunes came on and caused a lot of havoc as well. But again, it's Mohamed Salah scoring against Big Six opposition. He loves scoring against Man City. He scored unbelievable goals against City. And obviously the penalty wasn't an unbelievable goal, but it was very, very important for Liverpool. And they go on now and you think, look, City have to try and become a cup side, win the Champions League, or at least try and go for it. There's a lot of experienced players that can do that. If you can get, if you can get John Stones back, if you can add protection in midfield in January, maybe swap Kovacic out for someone if that's possible. With all due respect, Bernardo Silva with a bit of form, İlkay Gundogan, De Bruyne for one more season potentially. There's something there. There's a makings of a Champions League winning side potentially. But especially if you look at Real Madrid's drop off in form, I still think the City side could do a job on Bayern Munich, for example. But in the league, it's over. And Liverpool have been the side to have finally put a nail in the Man City Premier League title race coffin, if you will, for the first time in 4 years. Newcastle United away for Liverpool, that's a Liverpool win. Everton is difficult, of course it is, but then they're an Everton side that got battered by Manchester United today as well. So I think that's just a standard win. And you're looking kind of middle of December, Christmas time, and they've extended the lead. You never know what Arsenal are going to do. Arsenal literally cannot not win a game now from now until the end of December, and hope that by December, January, when you're playing a game every 3 days, there's a little bit of fatigue and maybe there's a couple of drools, and suddenly 9 becomes 7, becomes 5, becomes 4, and that's what Arsenal have got to hope for. But the next two are absolutely huge for Arsenal. Arsenal have to win the next two. Liverpool will win the next two. Liverpool versus Fulham, it's probably 5-0. Then Spurs and then Leicester City. I'm going to end there because that's Boxing Day. Spurs away, that's the hardest for me for Liverpool in the next few weeks. It really is, because this Spurs side can cause you a lot of damage offensively. They're prepared to whip it fast into the feet of Brennan Johnson, Timo Werner. Of course, Kulusevski's been absolutely fantastic as well. I still think Liverpool got more than enough to win the game. I'm just saying it could be the hardest fixture they have in the next few weeks in the league. And then Leicester City, which will be an absolutely standard win. You're looking at maybe Forest away on the new year, but I'm speculating into a whole different calendar year that Liverpool will drop points. And then Manchester United at Anfield as well, which it's always a difficult game. What can I say? It's really hard watch this City side. They're so devoid of confidence. And again, you're not playing 5 or 6, 18-year-olds. You're playing, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, Ilkay Gundogan, Mateus Nunes, Kyle Walker, Ruben Diaz. I'd argue on their day, and then the greatest goal scorer in modern history in the last 5 or 10 years is Erling Haaland with the numbers he's getting in the league. They're all borderline world-class players. They really are. So it's the confidence. And then let's just wrap up with the kind of Guardiola getting sacked in the morning from the Liverpool fans. He's obviously gone back and kind of done that to the Liverpool fans, which I don't mind. I'm not going to write home about it. There was a level of concession in the at the end of the game. This level of kind of clapping the away fans as if this is it. We've lost the title. This is where we lost it at Anfield, 2-0. We're going to go on to hopefully bigger and better things this season in terms of what can be achieved this season. And obviously, in the next couple of years, Guardiola's got a contract extension. Every City fan is beyond gassed about that. And then you look at it and think, I think the side needs a rebuild. Do you know what I mean? I think it is Guardiola sort of 2.0, 3.0 for the City side. And I think Liverpool have been a big wake-up call because this is a side that have transformed their midfield in the last few years. They've got new players in the back line. If you look at someone like Kanate, Diaz, for example, in the front three. I think this City side's, Nunes on the left. Rico Lewis in midfield. It just looks at Gundogan, 34 years old, just slightly devoid of the kind of level to be a Premier League champion. In my opinion, the City side can still string enough results together for something to happen this season. It just won't be in the Premier League, in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate it. And I'll see you very, very soon.